Hi, I'm Robin Scott-Elliot and welcome to Time Tunnelers. So we're in the middle of an amazing summer of sport. We've got the Men's Football European Championships on, the Tour de France has just started, the Olympics is coming soon, and then on the 28th of August it's the Paralympics. So like the Olympics, this will be held in Paris and we're going to see 4,400 athletes taking part in 22 different sports and chasing 549 medals. We'll begin with the parade down the Champs-Élysées from the Arc de Triomphe down to the Place de la Concorde, where once upon a time they used to cut people's heads off in the French Revolution, but luckily that doesn't happen anymore. So then the sport will begin, and you'll recognise lots of the sports from the Olympics, like the athletics and the gymnastics and the swimming, but some of the sports we'll see are unique to the Paralympics, like blind football, where they have a bell in the ball so the players know where it is, like sitting volleyball, which is for people who are limbless. And then there's one of my favourites, which is wheelchair rugby, which is also known as murder ball because it's such a rough, tough sport. And it's all going to take place in some spectacular settings. The blind football will take place by the Eiffel Tower, so expect to see lots of pictures of that. The para-triathlon will be run and cycled around the streets of Paris, and then they'll swim in the River Seine. The last Paralympics in Tokyo, Britain came second in the medal table behind China. I think China will probably come first again, but Britain has always been really important in the story of the Paralympics. And because this is the Time Tunnelers, I'm going to take us back in history, and we're going to go all the way back to 1948. But before we do, can anyone recognise this guy? So this is one of the mascots from the London 2012 Olympics and Paralympics, and this guy is Mandeville. You can see the little M on his head there. So Mandeville is short for Stoke Mandeville. Stoke Mandeville is a hospital on the edge of London, and this is where the story of the Paralympics begins. So in 1948, it was just after the end of the Second World War, and the hospital is full of young men. It treats spinal injuries. So these are all young men who can't walk anymore, can't use their legs, so they're all in wheelchairs. And one of the doctors there is a doctor called Ludwig Guttmann. Now Dr. Guttmann is an amazing man. He's originally from Germany, he was Jewish. In the 1930s, he helped lots of his friends and families get out of Germany once the Nazis came to power. In 1939, he decided that he and his wife would have to get out too, and they got out just before the Second World War started. So they came to Britain, and they settled in London, and Dr. Guttmann started working at Stoke Mandeville. He was working with these young men who had found themselves in wheelchairs. He decided that he had to show to them that even though they were in wheelchairs, they could still live a full and active life, because remember, attitudes towards disabilities were really different in 1948. So at the same time, in London, 1948, was the London Olympics, and Dr. Guttmann decided that he would set up an event to mirror the Olympics, so he began the International Wheelchair Games, and this is where the Paralympics begins. So it grew and grew from this, and in 1960 it was held abroad for the first time in Rome, and that's considered the first Paralympics because that's when people started coming from all around the world to take part, and it's just got bigger and bigger. In 1976 it went from being just wheelchair events to all people with disabilities took part, until it's grown until it's become the amazing spectacle that it is today. So it's going to be live on Channel 4, they're showing all the events, and Channel 4 they call them the Superhumans, and it's a brilliant event, it's a brilliant spectacle, and I urge you to watch it. In 2012 I was lucky enough to go to the Paralympics, and I've written a blog about some of the amazing people I met doing that, including one guy, Ahmad, who had his leg eaten by a shark but came back to take part in the swimming events. So I'll do your writing challenge. My challenge to you is to make up a story, a bit of creative writing. Imagine a story around either you're one of the young men who's wounded, you're a nurse or a doctor at the hospital, and you're going to tell the story of how the first International Wheelchair Games came about, how the beginnings of the Paralympics happened. Before I go, I just want to recommend a couple of people for you to look out for in Paris, both British. One of them is Maisie Summers-Newton. Now Maisie's 21, she won 2 gold in Tokyo, she's a swimmer, and I think she's got a good chance of winning 2 more in Paris, which still leaves her a long way behind the other person I'm going to recommend that you look out for. And this is one of my sporting heroes, and this is Sarah's story. So Sarah is 46 and she's about to take part in her 9th Paralympic Games. She's a cyclist now, but when she started she was a swimmer. So now she may be 46, which is kind of the age of your mum and dad. But in her first games in Barcelona in 1992, she was 14, so she was about your age when she won her first 2 Paralympic medals in the swimming pool. So look out for Sarah, look out for Sarah's story. Make sure you watch Paris, All Eyes on Paris. Have a great summer.